What is going on, everybody? Matt here, bringing you guys another wrestling belt video. This one is pretty strange. I actually put this belt together with a bunch of stuff that I had here at the house. These plates I had already stenciled out on some plates of steel, and of course everything else is made out of leather of some sort. I've got my vinyl lettering here printed out, glued onto more leather that I actually cut out individually, glued those to the other pieces of leather. Got these stickers off of eBay. They're actually like enamel stickers. They're not just regular stickers. And then of course these letters I've cut out. So yeah, this is pretty strange for me. This is not something I've ever done before, but something that I really wanted to do. And as I did it, there was more, I guess, call for it. Everybody kind of wanted to see what was gonna happen. Because again, this is something that's very, very weird and very random. Again, these are probably about a 2mm, actually probably even about like a 1mm steel plate. That these are, everything's kind of glued to or stuck to or whatever. And then there's probably a good 6mm, 6 to 8mm worth of leather around every plate, and then the same thickness in leather for the American flags. You got the CWA there, CWA here. These are the same, the bars are the same as this stuff going around. And then there's about a 1mm leather that I put the letters on to kind of make those just, they still stack, but they're not obnoxious. And then of course the same thing over here. The plates and stuff weren't measured 100%. They were just sort of gone off of former stencils of another belt that I've re-leathered, which of course I've done a video on. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely check it out because it's pretty neat. I like this belt a lot better though. The other one has sentimental value because it was given to me by a wrestler who wrestled for that belt, but this one I made it 100% on my own. Other than the designs for these plates and the outside side plates, that's really the only thing that that wasn't my original design. Everything else was measured out, cut, stamped, whatever, by me. The strap was even 100% done by me, because the other belt only had these as the side plates instead of the 2 extra. So these were here, and so yeah, I had to make this wider, and then this was about the original thickness, and then of course I tapered down here to do the snap box detail. Just something a little extra to kind of add to the plate of the strap, because it was like really nice here and done up. I got like a little taper line on both sides of here. This line fits really snug to the top of the plate, and then of course once this taper ended, there really wasn't anything else going on, so it was just a straight line all the way back, and so I didn't like that. I figured I have my new oblique, I think is what it's called. It's a tool that the belt makers like Reggie Parks, J-Mar, and all those guys, they used it for the actual television belts. So yeah, I now have that, which is really nice because now these belts can be that much more TV accurate. But my whole thing in that was the tooling goes around. It goes all the way to here and all the way around, and then all the way back around as a border for the camouflage tooling. So I figured, why not stop it there, bring these straps down, then of course just make these more or less plain, but with the extra tooling on the snap box just to kind of make those stand out, which I think looks really nice. And of course just a regular, I'm not even really sure what kind of tooling this would be called. It's just kind of like a grain tooling that I used for the snap boxes. It's pretty normal for me to use. I've got shader tools to do other stamps, but I just really like the way that this looks. I love the way that it takes the die. Or for this one, I painted it, so the way that it took paint was really nice. This paint's naturally really shiny, so it kind of adds to the effect of the leather, which is really nice. Because dye you have to cover in like some sort of sheen or some sort of gloss to help bring out the color, but with paint, which just is leather paint, it dries pretty glossy. So of course you got the eyelets here that are set, as you can tell if it'll focus on them. and these were open until I put the backing on. I went ahead and set these first, so that way the holes would be set, and then of course once the backing was put on, which you can see like in the second one here, the black backing closes that off and just makes it look more like a grommet instead of an eyelet, which is, in my opinion, just a really clean look. So yeah, and then of course, so down here we got the same situation with the tooling. I actually went around this one and didn't tool the whole box. I kind of left a little bit of a border all the way around, and I actually like that a lot better. I did this snap box over here first, and noticed that I had done it like right around the edge, you can kind of see. And so what I did was I just took that idea and did the whole box with that same plan. Then of course you can see the real fine indentions of the shader. So yeah, this belt is probably my top as far as leather work goes, just because I now have 100% TV accurate stamps as far as the camouflage, my line tools, and my snapbox tools. So all my straps from here on out will be done that much more accurate. The lines and stuff that I was putting in my other ones I was having to do by hand, and it was awful, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Of course, everything's covered in a chrome tape. This is a car wrap tape, so it's really shiny, it's really reflective. It's very clean. It's also very sturdy. It's meant to go on outside, like exterior parts of vehicles, so it's built to take abuse. This belt's really, I don't know, it's strange. I don't really know how else to put it, really, other than just being strange, because it's a one-off. Not even really sure what this stands for, because I never knew what it stood for on the other one. But now, of course, it'll be Championship Wrestling Alliance, just because I'm adopting the name. And yeah, this is pretty much just a belt for me to have, just to add to my collection, because like I said, I had everything laying around and decided to finish it and put it all together and see what I could come up with, and this is what it is. So I'll go ahead and flip this bad boy over for you. Everything was just put together today, so everything's still kind of fresh. This is just our standard backing, nothing fancy. It's just very top grain leather. I had a little bit of a problem with the edge coat. It was really runny, so I got it here on the back and even here, which obviously is no big deal. It's just edge coat. It's not gonna ruin the leather. It's not really gonna make it do anything other than just look shiny for a while. It'll wear off. That's the cool part about it being on the back and not on the seam, is that yeah, it'll wear off with shirts and clothes and whatever. There's this, and of course the red shows a lot. I got a couple of places I gotta touch up right here. The red shows a lot on the seam, but if you actually go over the top of the belt, there is not much, if any, red seam that's showing. Like I said, this is the best re-leather I've done, and it's pretty sad because I did everything on my own. I had nothing to work off of, so. But yeah, that's how the backing, in my personal opinion, should look. There should not be a lot of red showing. There should not be a lot of gaps. Plates curved, so that'll help. But yeah, the backing should be equal to the strap. If it does set in, then it needs to be like, it would need to look like this all the way around. I've seen a lot of work that's really patchy. There's a lot of really like crazy cuts like inside, so there's a lot of the top strap showing through, and there's just no need for it. Again, I'm not a professional, so this is just me using the tools and stuff that I learned to use. But yeah, it's just something to kind of mess with and practice with. Chicago screws are what the plates are stuck together, or stuck to the plate or the strap with. Of course, these are the heads of the screws. You can see the backs of the eyelets that I pushed in to make sure that the glue stuck to every bit of the eyelet and not just to like the area around it. You got your screws here, which of course I can dictate how many screws go into plates. This was just sort of standard, just in the more secure points. Again, this belt's not being used other than just to kind of have and display. So if this was going to be used in an organization of some sort, I would have tried to put more screws here, a screw here, a screw here, and then of course down this side, and then on the side plates would be the same. I would have just went like all the way around with them. So yeah, and then of course you got this side here, which covers these snaps, which covered really well. I got a little bit of edge coat on that too. But yeah, that's no big deal. This stuff, the only downside to it is that it creases easy. This is a backing that I put on today, about an hour ago. Actually, a little bit longer than that. But yeah, I've put it on today and not done anything with the belt, so you can see how fresh like the leather looks like over here. And you bend it, and it immediately just creases, which is fine. The belt's gonna crease, but you know, I have a weird thing with like the way that the straps look, especially when they're painted, because basically once you break that barrier of, you know, creasing it once, it stays creased forever. Unlike with dye, it's a little bit more forgiving. But yeah, the belt just folds up on itself really nice. This is a little bit more stiff, but these side plates are pretty aggressive, so it's a little bit harder because these are light. The snap boxes are pretty heavy, but these plates here are pretty heavy, so it just kind of, you know, does its thing. Again with the creasing. But if you flip it over, no creases. That's what I like to see. Again, just a weird thing with me. I mean, I know these belts are going to be creased occasionally or whatever, but for that first couple of weeks that you have it, I just really like to leave mine very pristine. It's a weird detail, I know, it's very strange. I like new belts, so I like for them to look that way. I do like a little bit of TV floppiness, but as far as like realisticness goes, I guess realism. I don't know. I just like whenever they get unveiled and they're like brand new stiff leather. I'm the weird one that wants them to be more stiff than floppy, but this strap does both. It looks good on the exterior, but it's still super floppy when it comes to, you know, just regular wear. But yeah, it's folded up on itself. As I make a bunch of noise with the tip. But yeah, that's the belt. I'm very excited about it. The red actually turned out really nice. And I was worried about my colors as is because I didn't want too much red on the belt, but I wanted the red to kind of dictate what the belt was, which is why I went blue here, red, white, and blue here, United States, red, white, and blue, blue. Figure the main plate be red and white. The side plates that have the stickers, these would be all blue. Because this is also a throwback to the original belt that I did. The CWA on that one was red, and the little globe that was up here. And I'd even thought about doing that, and doing globes here with continents on them, and then the globe here with more continents, and making this the world television champion. But the globe here would have been a little awkward and very small because this is only maybe 2 inches wide. So I didn't want the globe to be like super tiny and then have all this room here that's just not being used. I actually don't like this room here, and I don't like this down here, but it's part of it. So I decided to do the United States thing. I figured it was pretty easy, pretty simple. I grabbed these off of eBay for about $3 for both of them. They're motorcycle stickers, so they're built to be on like gas tanks and helmets and things like that. So I figured, you know, they would hold up to everything, just like the letters, just like everything else. So yeah. I really hope that you guys enjoy the video. It is different, it is new, but this is something that I really like, really starting to get into as far as re-leathering belts. I will be making these belts for anybody who wants one. It doesn't even have to be this one, because I have the tools to work metal. I can pretty much do any belt ever, as long as there's sort of a blueprint somewhere that I can get and cut out and trace onto the metal. So these don't have to be like square, these don't have to be small. This doesn't have to look like this, it could look like anything. Look like the Winged Eagle, look like the Intercontinental from the 90s, or 80s and 90s, you know, whatever. It can be literally anything. I can stack the plates. Doesn't just have to be one single piece of metal. I can do like these in metal. Or if you want an eagle, I can do the eagle in metal as long as I can cut it out. Or I have the other eagle off of the other belt that goes with the CWA stuff. So I thought about actually making a mold of it so that way I could start making those, but that's, you know, more demand than anything. It's not something that I like want to do or have to do. But yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. Very happy with it. Took me about 2 weeks to put up the whole thing together. It wouldn't have taken as long, but just grinding the plates down from like solid square pieces of metal. Waiting on stuff to get in because I ordered 100 of these at a time, so that took quite a while. Leaving the paint to cure, which was a day's process. I did the strap and paint in one day, but I gave the paint an entire day to cure. And it's the same thing that I'm going to do with the backing. I put the backing on today, so I'll give it a full day, the rest of the day, probably a little bit in the morning, to cure and set up. The edge coat is pretty much already cured. It's pretty nice, so hopefully this backing will stay on there for quite a while. Yeah, I don't know, just more or less talking. You guys couldn't tell, I'm pretty happy with it, pretty excited about it. It's definitely something I'm proud of, because again, there were no blueprints for it. It was just something I had in my brain that I thought was, you know, a good idea. If you are interested in these belts, I'm not even 100% sure on price, really. Just send me ideas, send me what you want, and I'll figure out a price from there. It depends on, you know, strap, how much tooling goes on into the strap, colors. If you want double stacked plates, you know, of course I gotta buy the metal for the double stack stuff. So that would cost more. Realistically, I mean, $300 mark, and I mean, I know there's companies out there that would be willing to make you belts for like $700 and $800, so it's kind of iffy. Like, you spend $300 here to get something that's not crazy quality, or, you know, you add $400 with it and you get something that's top of the line. I don't know, it's weird. If you want to, you do. If you don't, you don't. This is just something that I wouldn't be so upset to toss around in a trampoline environment, or a backyard ring, or even a rec show. I mean, with a little bit more work, a little bit more detail, this would be very, I don't know, I'd be pretty happy to hold this at a company, something like that. I don't know. Again, I'm pretty happy with it, so I'm very proud of it. But yeah, just message me on Instagram if you do have an interest in getting these done. If you do, that's cool. If not, no big deal. I do the re-leathers regardless. I've got a couple coming up that should be pretty neat. Big Gold, or the Attitude Big Gold, Big Eagle, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. The belt Stone Cold carried. So I got that one coming up, and I got a couple others coming up too, and so that'll be the main thing, just continuing my re-leathers. But this has been pretty neat. Like I said, it takes me about 2 weeks to do, depending on, you know, what there is to do. This was pretty simple as far as, because I've got a guy that does all my vinyl stickers and things, and measuring all this stuff out was super easy, because I already had the template for the belt, so everything's pretty much self-explanatory. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can say anymore about this belt, other than just the fact that I'm stoked to have it finished, because it took a while. This was something I've never done before. This is something that I want to do more of. So who knows? I may just do another one just to do another one. So thank you all for watching. Like and comment, subscribe, all the usual nonsense that, you know, you get told daily. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to say something about it, put it in the comments. Send me an Instagram message. You can message me on YouTube. That's becoming a thing now, for whatever reason. I'm getting more and more messages on YouTube talking about my work and, you know, prices for things and whatever. Link to my store is in the description below. Link to my Instagram is in the description below. And yeah, until next time, we'll see you then.